Help support our coverage with a free account on Privacy, the service that keeps your bank information private when shopping online. Take control of your subscriptions and other recurring payments, plus pause and close privacy cards at any time. And get $5 right now to try the service at collision.live/privacy. Well, our next guest is here. Hello.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
I'm fine.
Go ahead and introduce yourself for me.
Hi, my name is Michael Husbands. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Global Tutoring Hub, and I'm from Barbados.
From Barbados. I believe that's a first for us. Yes, okay. So tell us about Global Tutoring Hub.
Well, essentially, it all started with my daughter.
Okay.
She was having some learning challenges, and when we went online, what we found there, we weren't happy with. Now, she's the touchy-feely, she's that hands-on type person.
Okay.
And she was struggling in class, so my wife said to me, Michael, you're smart enough, you should be able to fix this. So, when your wife tells you fix it,
you do it.
You fix it.
Okay.
So, we got together and we created something called Tutor Now. And the idea behind that was one-on-one tutoring online, where we would get tutors basically to sign on and students to sign on and set up that one-on-one relationship. But what happened is, as that started to go, we found that learning institutions were coming to us saying, we want to be a part of this. So that is actually how Global Tutoring Hub started.
Okay.
Oh.
So the idea behind Global Tutoring Hub is that we offer a personalized and adaptive learning experience that's actually based on the user's learning style.
Okay.
So we take the institution's content and we break it down into visual, into auditory, into read-write, and into kinesthetic, and then we deliver it on our platform. The name of our platform is Podium, so that essentially each user has a unique learning experience based on their learning style. And then additionally, we also offer each user a personalized and adaptive learning experience as well, so that essentially no two users have the same learning experience.
Okay. So
because no two users learn the same way.
Yeah, exactly.
Correct.
So what if a student doesn't necessarily know how they learn best?
So what the platform does is you log on, and once you log on, the first thing you do is a learning styles test. So it asks you about 10 questions, and there's some data points in those 10 questions that we're looking for. So then based on that, we give you a score, and we rate what is the highest and what is the second highest. So some people may be high in visual, but the second may be auditory, or they may be high in kinesthetic, and the second is visual.
Okay.
But what we found so far is that, again, that the majority of people are actually visual. Correct. But again, it's good to know because it also helps you even in your classes and how you learn and so on. And what we also then do is provide tips. So from everything from note-taking, how to study. So essentially it gives you enough information that once you know and understand how you learn, even outside of the platform, you can use that information.
Okay.
What age range do you normally go for?
We are not in the K-12. We
Okay.
are young adults and adults. One of the key things that we found is there are a lot of young adults and especially adults who want to get back into learning.
Okay.
But they are not into, the online education in a significant way.
Yeah.
So what we're trying to do is find a simple and easy way for those persons to come back into learning. One of the projects that we're currently working on now in Barbados is the ability to come back and to do some remedial work related to, so I've gone through the education system, I've been away for a while, I want to get back in, but there may have been some things that I missed.
Okay.
So how do I then, either reskill or upskill so that, again, the skills that I have are relevant to today's environment?
What kind of content do you guys focus on?
Well, we focus on the content that's provided by the learning institution.
Okay.
So to give you an example, we work with higher learning as it relates to community colleges, polytechnics, and universities. But we can also work with a business. So if a business has a specific set of skills that they want to get delivered, and they must have the rights to that content, because we're not into copyright, and we're not into that part of it.
Yep.
So we would work with them basically to take the content, put it in the 4 different modes, and then be able to deliver it to their employees.
Okay.
And we do the same for learning institutions as well.
Okay. So when it existed, I worked for Radio Shack. Sorry. And when a new employee was hired, they had to go through certain training modules.
Yes.
That were about resistors and capacitors and all kinds of very specific, highly technical things.
Yes.
Some people held on to that information, and some people
and it's gone. Correct.
But all of that training material was built by them, so it would have all been theirs. So they could have come to you and said, we'd love to build this into a multi-style training system.
Yes.
Definitely.
And you could help bring that to fruition.
Yes. And what we have found, even in doing, having done this a couple times, is what we have found is that persons, again, we've done studies around retention time, how much information people can absorb at any one time, and so on. So even the videos, we don't do a video longer than 6 minutes, because that's kind of the maximum time. Then we can always mix that in with some audio or a project, so that we essentially our goal, even in setting this up, was mastery. We want you to be able to go through it, and at the end of it, understand it. It's not about a check in the box. It's not about a tick. It's about, we need to know that at the end of this, you know it.
Yes.
Right.
You know it.
100%.
And as long as you can do that, so we actually give you the ability, when I was talking about personalized and adaptive, we give you the ability to go through and take tests intermittently. Again, based on data points, we can tell if you understand it or if you don't understand it. We can then point you back to the specific area that you will need to do or do over, and give you the opportunity to retake it in order to advance as well.
Okay.
Or we can give you the opportunity, it depends on how we set it up. We can give you the opportunity to move ahead, but we can always highlight those weak areas and basically give you that as follow-up that you can come back to at your convenience as well. And again, because it's online, you don't have to be physically at the school or at work in order to be able to do it.
I genuinely love this idea. I mean, I just came from higher education. I just graduated like 2 weeks ago. But you'd be surprised in higher education that it's really hard to find tutoring. Yes, there's a TA, but the TA is barely available, or, doesn't explain it the same way. And there isn't very many places to go. I mean, I know at my university, a lot of people in electrical engineering or mechanical engineering really struggled with circuits. Like, circuits was a very hard course, and it was really hard to understand it when you just have a book and, just the professor.
So let me give you an example of, again, what makes us unique. One, the tutor can actually get information from what the students are doing, even down to where they're having a learning difficulty, and we give them the ability to redesign the course. So that, say for instance, you recognize a large number of persons are coming to this point and pausing, or they're scrolling forward, scrolling back, scrolling forward, scrolling back. We can then say to the tutor, you're having an issue in this area. Maybe it's a case where they don't understand, maybe they need more information, maybe it needs to be redesigned in a different way. As it relates to the one-on-one tutoring, you can go through the course, and that information then can also be shared with the tutor prior to your one-on-one. So that the tutor has an idea before the engagement, what are the critical areas that you're having a challenge with, so that you can focus in on those areas as well. So again, it's by personalizing it, you get a better outcome, not only for the student, but also an effective use of time for the tutors as well. So you no longer need a large pool of tutors for those one-on-ones. You can actually reduce the number of persons, but with a more focused approach as it relates to what you're using the time for.
Okay. Very cool. So you can legitimately see that there's a part of the maybe either a part of the course that is not resonating,
Yeah.
or perhaps there's a piece before that, some fundamental piece that is being dropped and therefore, like, that isn't being understood, and therefore we're replaying this over and over again, not because I don't understand this, but because I didn't understand this.
Correct.
And this now is worthless to me because I don't understand the first bit.
Yes.
Okay.
And I think additionally what we've been able to do is we've been able to show that if you teach the fundamentals right, and if you get the fundamentals right, when it comes to the second level course and the third level course, persons move at a much faster pace.
Sure.
So to give you an example, my business partner, his name is Sean Eiffel. He teaches at the Barbados Community College. What we would have done as a test is he taught the first part of a course, and then for the second part, he put it completely online. And then what he allowed his students to do is based on the fundamentals that they learned in the first part, he gave them a week to complete the second part. This is a 6-week course. They all completed it in the week with 80% or better.
Wow.
So essentially, you can also reduce the amount of time it takes you to do courses both on-site or online as well.
Wow. That's great.
I have a quick question based on what if there is a person who isn't necessarily enrolled in a university, but they want to learn about like a particular subject. Can they go on your platform and just go into one subject?
Unfortunately, at this time, no. It's something that we're looking to do as part of an additional phase. The idea behind what we're looking to do with Global Tutoring Hub is we're starting to bring partners on with the idea that eventually we will become a knowledge hub.
Okay.
Once that we have that mass, that critical mass, then basically we can open it up to any person where you can come and find the best course that suits you, but also in a style that suits you as well. One of the things that we recognize, there are a lot of online learning platforms. There are a lot.
Sure.
But one of the big difficulties is that we know that less than 10% of persons who sign up for online courses complete those courses. And one of the biggest challenges is around user engagement.
Sure.
So that's why we're looking at the personalization, the understanding how you learn, and then delivering that to you in a style that fits you. So that's kind of the idea behind why we're doing what we're doing.
Fair enough. I can say there are in the software engineering world, there are a couple of online learning sites that are really popular.
Yes.
And they do nothing for me.
So I think you're one. I think you're one of our soon-to-be customers, because I think most of them have focused on being big and having large numbers, but again, as I said, we're about mastery.
Yeah.
Can I deliver it to you and you actually learn it and get value from it? Such that when you go away feeling I've achieved.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if that happens, what normally happens is you find more and more persons actually want to get involved in learning.
Yeah.
And I think one of the key things for us, again, coming from a small island, one of the key things for us is we understand the value of education. Education is one of the bases from which you develop as a person, but it also determines what type of society you live in, even how your country is structured. So again, once we can put those foundational things in place, there's no limit to what we can do with a good education.
100% correct.
Very cool. So, as an alpha, what were your goals here at Collision this week?
Well, first of all, we are working with one institution in Barbados that essentially gives us 3 of the institutions. They're actually on a platform called the Trident platform. So it means in Barbados, we are working with like 3/4 of the higher learning institutions already. So Alpha was an opportunity to come and to basically let people know about what we're doing, to look for partners as well, and we found some as well, so that's fantastic. But also it was to see what others are doing as well in the areas that we're in, because again, we don't want to do what we're doing in a silo. So we're looking at overall what is happening in education, but also what is also unique about what we offer. So we had some very good feedback. We actually met with some of the bigger boys here like AWS and so on to get feedback from them as well around what we're doing. So it has been very, very good. And then additionally, we got an opportunity to speak with a couple investors. So we have a couple investor meetings set up for next week.
Awesome.
Once we get back to Barbados. So it has been really good for us.
Congratulations.
And additionally, we signed our first, sorry about that, we signed our first Canadian customer.
There you go.
Awesome.
Very cool. And don't worry about that. We've all punched the mics. It happens.
Yeah.
If people want to find out more about your platform, how can they do that?
You can go to podiumxp.com. That's where you will find our platform. And if you want to find out more about our business, you can go to globaltutoringhub.com. podiumxp.com or globaltutoringhub.com.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much.
It has been my pleasure.
We really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you.
Have a good rest of your day.
Have a good one.